Hello and welcome to a video tutorial looking at moral dilemmas. Today we're going to divide our lesson into three parts. Part 1, what's a moral dilemma? Part 2, how do we use them effectively? And then part 3, how do you make your own? So, take notes. Let's start with our definitions then. Our definition of moral dilemma is a situation where we're faced with two or more choices, where these choices present a conflict between different moral principles. Let's break this down a little bit more. So, a situation. A moral dilemma always presents a set of circumstances or a scenario for us to imagine either ourselves or somebody else in. Now these situations, they can be very realistic, they could even be examples from history, or they could be highly unusual and unrealistic. Second part, so two or more choices. The important part here is that a moral dilemma always specifies what the choices are for action in the dilemma itself. Moral dilemmas are not about thinking outside the box, they're about comparing the choices given in the dilemma against each other. This leads to our last part here. So a moral dilemma represents a conflict between moral principles, and this is the whole point of a moral dilemma. They're to allow us to try and test which principles we value over others. What principles ultimately do we think are most important in our moral decision making? Consider the example of the burning building dilemma again, the one that we saw in the intro. I'll just put it down there. Now, this is a dilemma for the very reason that the two choices we've got, so either to save the scientist who has the cure for cancer or to save our mum, well, we do have a moral reason to do either of those actions. And that's what creates the difficulty in making that decision. That's why it's a dilemma. So what could our reasons be? Well, obviously, to save the scientist, we have a moral reason to do that because to do so is going to save more lives. If we save the scientist, that means we preserve the cure for cancer, and that cure can then be used to save thousands of people's lives. And we also clearly have a reason to save our mum, because they are our mum. And to be a loved one means that we do prioritise their welfare, otherwise they wouldn't really be a loved one. Part of what it means to be a loved one of someone is that we do treat them better than others. We do go out of our way more to look after them, to protect them. So we have a reason to save our mother, simply because they are our relation or our loved one. So imagine if we changed this dilemma a little bit. Imagine if we removed your mother from the situation and replaced them with just a stranger. So now we've got a choice between a stranger and a doctor with a cure for cancer. This would no longer be a dilemma because we don't have that clash of moral principles, right? So of course there's a reason to save the stranger because we ought to save somebody's life if we can, but of course that moral principle also applies to the scientist. They're both strangers. It's just that one of these strangers we also know is a scientist with a cure for cancer. So if we were to face this decision, we'd have a reason to save the stranger. We ought to save somebody's life if we can. But that reason applies to the scientist as well. We ought to save their life if we can. But then we have the additional reason to save the scientist, that if we save them, we'll save many thousands more people. So therefore it's not really a dilemma. We're not really being caught between two competing principles. So it's quite easy to answer. So notice how then this moral dilemma is being created. And we're going to do more on that at the end of this lesson, where you're going to have to make your own moral dilemma. But notice it's created so that we have two different moral principles that come into conflict. Okay, so what do we do? How do we answer this? Well, this is the important part of a moral dilemma. It lets us test what our true beliefs are. What do we deep down truly think is the moral action to do in this situation? And it helps us develop a hierarchy of values. So we're able to establish what values do we think kind of beat all other values. And what other values do we have that are important, but when push comes to shove, if they're in conflict with our highest value, then we always go with our highest value. It helps us try to discover what are our top values, what's our highest value. Moral dilemmas are a great way of testing this. So in a sense, moral dilemmas are just a thought experiment. They allow us to test our beliefs about things. In fact, you could use this very moral dilemma to test somebody. Imagine you're having a conversation with someone and they said, I would always put my mum first no matter what. Then you might be like, okay, well, do you really believe that? Let's test it. And you might present them with the situation, go, well, you either save your mum or you save a scientist, but if you save the scientist, you're going to save thousands of lives. Do you still think, is your moral value still that you ought to always put your mum first? Now, they might still say yes, right? Maybe you said yes to this. Or they might start to question and go, okay, maybe that isn't my top value. Maybe, actually, there's something more important than just putting your loved ones first. Maybe morality is more about saving the maximum amount of lives. In which case you might then be convinced by a theory like utilitarianism that we'll look at later, which says you ought to try and create the greatest happiness for the greatest number. Right, let's go on to part 2. How do we use moral dilemmas effectively? Now, in my experience as a teacher, I've introduced moral dilemmas to hundreds of students over the years, and I think I've managed to identify 3 main mistakes. The first mistake that I see a lot of students often make when they're first presented with a moral dilemma is to avoid the dilemma entirely. Okay? They find an alternative choice or action, a third way, or a way around the problem, or to save everybody. And these kind of approaches to moral dilemmas, I get why they occur, and it makes sense, because if you were faced with a moral dilemma in real life, you genuinely would try and find any other action that you could possibly do to escape the dilemma, because dilemmas are bad things to be caught in. For example, the burning building dilemma that we had a look at already. So I presented this one to many students, and often students will try and find a way to save both people, right? Or one of my favourite reactions to this dilemma, a student said that they would shout up to the scientist to get them to throw their cancer research down, and then they would go save their mum. But these miss the point again, and it can be fun, it's creative, but a moral dilemma is not about creative kind of role play. A moral dilemma is about testing 2 principles. So any discussion about trying to get outside of the dilemma is just to be missing the point entirely. So avoid doing that. Avoid doing that with your teacher. Your teacher might try and give you kind of some explanation of why you can't do the action, but ultimately you've just got to accept that this is the point of the moral dilemma. We're trying to compare 2 different moral principles. So now that you know that, that's how you should approach moral dilemmas. You're not trying to find a way out of them, you're trying to actually test what of 2 principles you value the most. That's mistake 1. Okay, mistake 2 is to focus on legal ramifications or repercussions. And we're not really concerned with that in moral philosophy. The reason being, laws can be good or bad, fair, unfair. They change over time. They're different in different countries. So what is legal is not the same as what is moral. Okay, we don't base morality on what is legal. In fact, we base our laws on what we think is moral. Moral development takes place, and then our laws catch up. So to decide whether or not we should do a particular action because of the legal repercussions of it is to miss the point that we're talking about moral dilemmas. We're trying to work out what is the morally right action. Now, of course, there have been many people throughout history who have gone to prison for doing something morally right, for standing against injustice. So we know that morality, the law, is not the same thing, so avoid thinking about the consequences, the legal consequences that there might be of making a decision in a moral dilemma. That's not the point. The third mistake then is to not distinguish between 2 words. You need to be able to distinguish between the word would and should. A moral dilemma is not asking you what you would do. A moral dilemma is all about what you should do. So what's the difference? Well, to explain what you would do is to be descriptive about yourself as a person, like what your moral qualities might be like, or your personality is like. Whereas to talk about what you should do is to talk about morality. Moral philosophy is to talk about what you think morality would demand of you in that situation. And these 2 things could be different. For example, there could be a situation where sacrificing myself would save 50 other people's lives. And I might say that I should do that, but I might think that actually, if I was in that situation, I wouldn't be able to. So to answer a moral dilemma with what you would do, again, misses the point, so don't do it. We're not concerned with what you would do. What we want to think about is what you should do. So that's thinking about what's the right thing to do. Okay, so those are 3 mistakes that I want you to avoid. First, don't try and escape the dilemma, okay? The whole purpose of the dilemma is to compare different moral principles, so you need to accept that. 2, don't focus on what the legal repercussions are of particular actions, because we're talking about morality, not the law. And 3, focus on what you should do, not what you would do. Okay, have a look at some new moral dilemmas and apply what you've just learned, avoiding those 3 mistakes in your responses to them. How do you make your own moral dilemmas? Now, you might start to think of some ideas already. That's good. But let me give you a little bit more guidance, and then for the final task, it's your turn to be creative. First, let's think of this. Imagine a scientist, and this scientist is doing an experiment. And the way they're doing the experiment is by just gathering up lots of random equipment and just setting it up and seeing what happens. Now, we know if a scientist were to do that, they're unlikely to discover anything useful or interesting, because they've not even established what it is they're looking for. Well, the same is true for us in philosophy when it comes to thought experiments, and a moral dilemma is a type of thought experiment. We too need to be careful in the construction and the planning of a thought experiment so we know what it is that we're actually testing. What is it that we're trying to discover? If we don't establish that before, we're unlikely to get interesting results or useful information. Okay, let me demonstrate this by giving you an example of a bad moral dilemma. You're in a lifeboat and there are 2 people drowning. One far off that way, one far off that way. You can only get to one before the other will drown, so you can only save one person. You don't know who either of them are, they're both strangers to you, but you have to decide who you're going to save. Now, this is clearly a difficult situation because you're choosing who lives and dies. I wouldn't want to be in that situation. It's going to be a difficult choice, but it's not a moral dilemma because we don't have competing moral principles here. The principles for both choices are actually the same: save life. And we don't have any other factors to go on. We don't know anything about these people, okay? And there's just 1 versus 1. So there's no dilemma here. It's really just a 50-50 choice, right? So that's an example of a bad moral dilemma. It's not a moral dilemma. It's an attempt at one, and it fails. Okay, so how do we make a good moral dilemma? Well, there are different ways of doing this, but this is how I would like you to approach it today. I'd like you to start by first identifying a moral principle that you want to analyze, that you want to test. And that's going to be your starting point, your foundation. Once you've got that, then you build the situation around it. So what do I mean by moral principle? Well, I just mean any moral rule that you've encountered in your life. So it could be things like, do not kill, stealing is wrong, always tell the truth, never break your promises, anything you like, protect the innocent. Just think of a moral principle that you've kind of come across, a moral rule that you've come across that you'd like to test. Once you've chosen one, then you can start creating your moral dilemma. And how you'll do it is, you'll do it so that one of the choices allows you to follow the moral rule that you're analysing. So for example, imagine I chose do not kill. So if do not kill is kind of the moral rule I want to test, well, one of the actions in my dilemma is going to allow me to not kill, okay? So I'm able to follow that rule, okay? Now, the opposite action has to be the opposite of this rule. So if I'm testing do not kill, then the opposite action has to be me actually killing. Now, it's not going to be a dilemma if it's just a choice between killing or not killing. We're all just going to choose not killing, right? So to create that conflict, we need to then create in our scenario a reason why doing the second option actually might be desirable. What other moral rule might that be fulfilling? So for example, this option could be do not kill, but this one, we kill, but we end up saving more lives. Okay, so that's going to create that tension, that dilemma. That's how I want you to create your own moral dilemmas. First, start by selecting a moral principle that you want to test, and then develop a situation to fit it into. And one of your actions, you're able to follow that moral principle, and the other one you have to break it. But you need to create a situation where there might be some reasons, moral reasons, to break it. And that will create that dilemma, that tension. Now, I would love it if you come up with a good one to post it down below, please, in the comment section. That way I can see it, respond to it, and other people can see it and respond to it as well. It'd be great if under this video there's nothing but moral dilemmas. I would love that. But I'll see you guys all in the next lesson, and have a go now at the final task for today.